Hi, I'm John Burke. My wife and I formed the BZB Foundation, and let me give you a little story, a little bit of our story, to tell you how we got where we are today. For over 40 years, I worked for an international construction company. We weren't fortunate enough to have children of our own, and moving as we did, we weren't really candidates for adoption. The strange thing is that we were always doing something with children, either Boy Scouts, religious education, Girl Scouts. I was even asked to train sixth graders how to do a budget. One of our trips, one of the places that we worked, was in Tennessee, and that's the first time that we encountered St. Jude Children's Hospital. We were fortunate enough to be able to spend some time there and meet the medical staff as well as some of the children, and it's amazing the work that they're doing. My wife and I had many discussions about that and finally made a decision that what we chose to do was leave our estate to St. Jude Children's Hospital. As we went through the process, we discovered, as someone pointed out, that if we gave our estate to St. Jude at one time, that would only help them for the current year. But there was a way to do it so that they would be funded for a long period of time, and I could do it in memory of my wife who passed. My wife, Jane Burke, was the most loving, considerate woman in the world. You know, it's wonderful when you wake up one day and you discover that your best friend is also the love of your life. One thing that you should know is the wife's name, maiden name, was Bezold, and mine is Burke. And it just made sense to put our initials together, BZB. So now you have the BZB Foundation. 8 or 9 years ago, Jane and I, reading in the newspaper, saw that classes were being offered on finance. So we signed up at the local junior college and we went, and the instructor was Todd Halterman. And one of the things he said at the very beginning of the class is, I have a company that helps people with their financial issues. And that's the last time that I'm going to discuss it during this class. And it was. And that so impressed us that we asked Todd to help us with our finances, and we've been friends ever since. Over a process of a year, we formed a corporation, we got the business licenses, and ultimately we ended up with a 501c3 foundation, which means that it's entirely funded by BZB, and you can reap all of the benefits and still have it tax deductible, all donations that you make.
You know, over the years, John and I became really good friends, and the reality is when he and Jane told me they wanted to give a gift to St. Jude's, I simply asked him, how long do you think $1 million gift would last? And he said 10 minutes. You know what? He intimidated me a little bit because as a purchasing agent for a major corporation, I knew he was very bottom line oriented, and he wanted to make sure that his wife was going to be safe. And I said, do you want to give him a fish, or do you want to teach him how to catch multiple fish? And we set out on an adventure to go to Memphis to eat some barbecue and find out what the doctors had to say on how they wanted to use Jane and John's gift.
What we discovered in our investigation of St. Jude Children's Hospital is that their mission is to provide the best, most current care for the children that are there. They provide a system which is family-oriented, spiritually based, to accomplish this fact. They are trying to ensure that the family is part of the team, the medical side, the family side, and the patient side, all working together to help the child get better. What our mission is to help the well children. I think it's known that in every family, the child that is sick receives the attention. But here we're talking about children who are undergoing a catastrophic illness, which is going to take a long time for the cure to take effect. Because it is, their siblings may begin to feel neglected. And what we're trying to do is request that our money be spent to strengthen the family unit and be sure that those siblings are not forgotten along the way.
You know, at PCP Consulting, we work hard at helping people be remembered for their values and legacy, not just their money. We learned a long time ago that people work their entire lives to have their independence and freedom, to someday, after a medical avalanche, face their own demise and wonder, will I be remembered? How do you want to be remembered is a theme that we live by. When I met John and Jane Burke, they were two wonderful, in-love people, best of friends that really want to make an impact in the world and help children. And after I learned their story, I want to make sure that their story gets told for many generations to come. Everybody wants to be remembered for something. John and Jane Burke created the BZB Foundation to help kids get help and be busy while mom and dad are distracted helping their other sibling. Today I'm excited to share with you that John and Jane have spent their entire lives setting up for this moment to help impact families across America who have a child that may be sick and other children who are watching that child die. I work hard with John and Jane to make sure that we set the BZB Foundation up in a way to help disinherit the IRS from receiving taxes out of their 401k and help rescue families for this unfortunate demise at such an early age. We know that families face this truth and reality. We don't save them all. But St. Jude's, they do a wonderful job at capturing the family spirit and togetherness. And Jane wants to remember that these children deserve your time and attention. And their family values and legacy is really about one thing: making sure you remember how to impact lives when you're not here and helping you be remembered for your legacy. John and Jane want to reach out to you, and I'm on board 100% to help make sure that you disinherit the IRS, and the money that could have went to the IRS will now go to help save children at St. Jude's who are watching their brother and sister go through something horrible. And we will make a difference. And we hope you'll join the team.